Hello, class. Today I will be talking to you about Sustainable Development Goal 2 and how I want to implement that in Nigeria. So, let's see. First, I kind of want to look at this. So, World Hunger is Sustainable Development Goal 2, and it actually has not seen much improvement since I think 2019. It was doing well, and then COVID-19 hit, and then a lot of things kind of went worse than how they were going before the trend. So you can see more than 600 million people worldwide are projected to face hunger in 2030. Little to no progress has been made in reducing anemia worldwide, so like diseases related to hunger. Um, and so we can look at Sustainable Development Goal 2 from the United Nations. They have certain targets. We have from 2.1 to 2C. You can kind of read them here on the screen, but I'll kind of skim over a few of them. Ease of access to food, ending malnutrition, especially for mothers with children under the age of 5, doubling agricultural productivity for small income or small scale farmers. So compared to like big scale farmers, like big farms, increasing production, but also maintaining the ecosystem and making sure that it adapts to weather conditions and climate change, correcting trade restrictions that subsidize export, and making sure that everyone has an equal chance to export or import or whatever, and then making sure that there are no extreme food prices worldwide. And with the target process or progress, it actually has not been doing too well. Um, yeah, so it stabilized a little bit before COVID-19, and then once 2022 hit, it increased about 122 million of people who were facing world hunger. Um, the number of children that were affected by malnutrition did decrease though from 24.6% to 22.3. Um, the income gap between large scale and small scale farmers has not really improved. Um, global expenditure um, was at 36 trillion with 749 billion going towards agricultural improvement. So you can see other countries are um, funding these farmers to be able to do well in their countries. And we can look at the graph data here. So I compared the population that is undernourished. I used Nigeria, the world, and the United States. You can see that the United States line is pretty low, staying at I think about 2.5%. The world is about at 8.5, maybe 9, and then Nigeria is up in the 15.9, I think 16%, and you can kind of see it on the map on the right here. The U.S., New Zealand, Russia, all these other countries are kind of in the 0 to 5% range, and then Nigeria is sitting around the 10 to 15, 15 to 20% range. So definitely some room for improvement. Then this is my mind map. You can see what's on here, but I have synthetic biology, plant Internet of Things, and AI farming. With AI farming, we can reduce food waste, improve food distribution, and better prepare for natural disasters and climate change. So we can monitor goods in transit and make sure that they're still good for human consumption. We can optimize food distribution data so we can see what countries need the food the most, and then we can make sure that we're getting into those countries to minimize waste as much as possible. Um, we've got synthetic biology, so biofortification, genetically modified crops, and lab grown food. So when I say lab grown foods, we can lab grow meat. We can mimic food to be exactly like cow's milk or milk. We can better fortify foods, so making sure that they have the right genetics for the environment, making sure that they can survive maybe heat or drought. And then we can have precision architecture, early pest detection, and crop stress identification with plant Internet of Things. So we can have sensors to monitor soil and temp, and also the nutrients in the food that we're growing. Then we can target irrigation and fertilizing with also reducing waste, so seeing when the crops need it the most. And then I have some propositions as well for Sustainable Development Goal 2. I think the UN should back subsidies for mothers. So when I say that, I mean there should be a program in place in countries that need it where if you have a child under the age of 5, there's kind of like in the US, we have SNAP and EBT. There should be something similar to that over there because I think a lot of these mothers have to fend for themselves. So they should be able to have food provided for those kids. Like malnutrition and child mortality should not be a thing at all, honestly. Community gardens in underserved areas. So this would teach young and old how to cultivate the land so this knowledge can be passed on, and then they can build gardens in their communities, so, and then they can make sure that they're building the foods that or growing the foods that they need specifically. And then I also think that the UN should require donations from countries based on the highest earners in those countries. So if you make a ton of money, you're a billionaire, you really don't need all that money. And the fact that you have all that money in your pocket and people are dying from hunger is just unacceptable. So there should definitely be some kind of system in place for them to have to donate. And, these are my references. And yeah, thank you guys.